usual, the computer wouldn't allow me to get in. It's asked for a verification code and whatnot. So the delay. So sorry for that.
All right, we're ready.
Okay. We are devotees, Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory. We are on chapter 2 of Canto 12. Yesterday we did 41 and today we are on verse 42. Please accept my humble obeisances, Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All yours, Maharaj.
Om Gyan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Tatam Sevyam Makanda Bhu Bhuvame Purushadrita Matputrasya Chaprautrasya Matpurvavam Sajasyava. Translation: the materialistic king thinks, this unbounded earth was held by my predecessors and is now under my sovereignty. How can I arrange for it to remain in the hands of my sons, grandsons, and other descendants? Purport: this is an example of foolish possessiveness. 43. Te jam yanan mayam katam vritavat mataya buddha mahim mahataya go bel vidvanting darshanam gataha. Translation: although the foolish accept a body made of earth, water, and fire as me, and this earth as mine, in every case they have ultimately abandoned both their body and earth and passed away into oblivion. Purport: although the soul is eternal, our so-called family tradition and earthly fame will certainly pass into oblivion. Yehi bhupateyo rajan bunjate bhuvan ojasa kalenate krita sarve katamatra katasucha. My dear King Parikshit, all these kings who tried to enjoy the earth by their strength were reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. Purport: the word Rajan, or king, is significant in this verse. Maharaj Parikshit was preparing to give up his body and go back home, back to Godhead. And Sukadeva Goswami, his most merciful spiritual master, devastated any possible attachment he might have to the position of king by showing the ultimate insignificance of such a position. By the causeless mercy of a spiritual master, one is prepared to go back home, back to Godhead. Spiritual master teaches one to relax one's strong grip on material illusion and leave the kingdom of Maya behind. Although Sukadeva Goswami speaks very bluntly within this chapter about the so-called glory of the material world, he is exhibiting the causeless mercy of the spiritual master who takes his surrendered disciple back to the kingdom of Godhead, Vaikuntha. Let's see the verse again. Okay. When we get No, where you going? Where you going? Quit jumping around like a monkey. Stay there. Om Gyan Timirandasya Gyanadjana Salakaya Taksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Kadam Vayam Dadati Swam Padantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paschatya Desatarine Vanchakalpa Tarubhischa Ripa Sindhu Paevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaho Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, here we're hearing about kings and their tendency to think that they are sovereign in their position as king. But the time factor works on everyone. And although one may be in a position of great authority and power and control, it's all temporary. And even though one has that position, it is given to them by the grace of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord's external energy, it'll be taken away. So one should not be proud of any position that one may hold, because everything is given by the grace of the Lord. This is significant to understand, because whatever we have, we are actually given to us if we analyze the factors that bring about whatever we have, and the factors that transform things into something different in the course of time. These factors are external to us. The time factor, the situation that allows things to happen, and the situation that changes things, the situation that ultimately destroys things. So one who is intelligent will understand that where I am now is not necessarily the perfection of life. Perfection of life is to be situated in my constitutional position. And there are many great kings, such as King Yudhisthira, Maharaj Parikshit, Prithu Maharaj, King Ayati, many great kings in the history of Vaishnava culture and tradition that understood the actual goal of life. And although they had great power and influence, they understood that it was by the arrangement of the Lord everything is happening, and in the arrangement of the Lord everything is taken away. So no one can keep anything, no matter who you are, or how powerful you may be, or how intelligent you are. Everything you have, including your own body, is subject to the time factor. And the time factor is the energy of the Lord, which moves things along, as is described, just like a herdsman moves his herd from pasture to pasture. Similarly, the time factor moves the living entities from one situation to another. It's explained in the Bhagavad Gita, Karana, Guna Sadosya, Sadasad Joni, Janmasya. From the highest planet, in the material world, down to the lowest, all are places of birth and death. And one is traversing compared to a merry-go-round. A merry-go-round is a machine that people sit on these with different fake horses, and the horses go up and down while the machine is going round and round. So that is actually a good analogy to illustrate the situation of the living entities. Round and round signifies birth, death, disease, and old age, continuously, life after life, and up and down means sometimes in a good material position and sometimes in a very abominable position. So this thing is constantly happening, because the material world is made in such a way as the living entity can't stay here, and he cannot fulfill his desires here. Although one tries to exploit the material energy, and one may become very powerful and know how to arrange one's abilities in such a way as they can secure positions in this material world. They find themselves always subject to change. And therefore, one should not try to make a permanent situation in this world. One should arrange to become Krishna conscious and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the sunam bonum of life and the ultimate goal of life for the conditioned souls, is to take this materialistic existence and use it to purify oneself and to attain one's pure state of spiritual consciousness in relationship to the Supreme Spirit, Krishna himself, and return to the spiritual world. That is actually the goal of life. And there's no second goal. All the other goals are simply ways to try to control this material energy in order to facilitate some type of temporary enjoyment. So therefore here, this is a lesson for those who are very influential in the world. And many great kings have come and gone. But where are they now? This is a list of names, that's all. The ones that we remember are the ones that actually used their position as rulers to become Krishna conscious. We saw Maharaj Parikshit. He was cursed to die in 7 days for being bitten by a snake bird. The curse was an unfair situation. He should have never been cursed. And even in that situation, he had the power to nullify the curse. But he didn't. He took it as an opportunity to perfect his life and go back home, back to Godhead. And he is so glorious in that choice that Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken based on the life of Maharaj Parikshit. Spoken by Sukadev Goswami, and then later respoken at Namisharanya by Sutta Goswami to the sages of Namisharanya, headed by Sonakarish. So this is spiritual life is life, material life is a shadow reflection of real life and has nothing to do with life itself. Although the living entity remains in the material world, their existence is quite pitiable and quite pathetic. That's a better word, pathetic. And because what can you do in the material world? You eat, you sleep, you mate, you defend, you pass stool and urine, and you try to make plans to be happy. So this is the material world. It's just a place. It's a prison house. That's all. No one can be happy in a prison house because it's a place of restriction. It's a place of limitation. One can be happy only in their natural position as pure spirit souls, free from the material body. As it says in the Bhagavatam, one should not have received a material body. To get a material body is an anachronism. It is something that is not meant to happen to the soul. But if it does happen, then one should rid themselves of these bodies that come life after life after life. And then eventually that life, or where one can rid themselves of their material body and go back home, but back to Godhead, is the actual success of their life in the material world. Even though one may in previous lives had great positions, and that position is all gone now. No, nobody even remembers. Nobody even cares. So it's just the way the material world is. So it's a very unusual place. It doesn't make sense because the senselessness of the material world is all the energy, efforts, and time and resources you spend, you lose. Everything is taken away in due course of time. So an intelligent person will say, what is this? I have to work for this and then I'm going to lose it. I have to get this and then it'll be gone in due course of time. Let me have something that I can keep that'll be beneficial. And that is intelligence. And those who have that intelligence, they know their best interest in life. So the illusion of greatness in the material world relegates one to fall victim of that, of various types of wrong thinking. But we see here great souls such as Maharishi Pariksit and others, somehow or other, they surpassed that illusion and understood, yes, I'm king in the world, but what does it mean? It means nothing. My real position is to be with Krishna in the spiritual world. That is my actual position. Not this grandiose material success. And you see how material world goes. Someone becomes successful or someone becomes envious of that person. And so there's always some enmity, some competition that comes by way of material success. Even we see that in spiritual circles. If someone is becoming more advanced in Krishna consciousness, they become a subject to envy, they become a subject of criticism. People look for faults just to tear them down or make them seem less than they actually are. And this is the material world. It's just the way it is, material consciousness. No, it's not a nice place. And people are dying of disease every day. People are working hard to get so much money, and then they get sick and they spend all their money to get their health back. They work hard. I was just hearing today, one devotee was telling me, somebody he knew, he had a business, and the business was a tobacco business. So this was in India. And then he used to take tobacco and put it in his mouth. And they have this thing where they put it in their lip and they keep it there. And then they get the taste of the tobacco throughout the day. But his business and his liking for tobacco turned in that he wound up getting cancer from the tobacco that he was, chewing on. So as you see, and then everything changes and one's life becomes just a crisis. And there's a statement in the scriptures which says, one man, he says, yes, I wanted to enjoy in this world, so I decided to build a house. But then after I built the house burned down, and there goes my enjoyment. So, this is the material world. You can't win, and you can't stop playing. In other words, you can only stop playing when you take to your real position as spirit soul and engage in service of the Supreme Personality of God. Because no one can get away from service. One might think, well, I have to serve someone. Well, you're serving anyway in the material world. You're serving, if you're married, you're serving your family. If you're working, you're serving your boss. If you're doing things in the world, you're serving those people you're doing. And if you're not serving any of these, you're serving a cat or a dog, which you keep for your own so-called happiness. And if you're not doing that, you're serving your own mind, which has so many ideas on how you can be happy. So where is the good thing in the material world? The good thing is that it gives you a chance to get out. Human life is rare, and human life is the only opportunity that one can make a solution to all of the problems of life. And therefore, one who is actually intelligent and can understand how to use that intelligence will not make any kind of arrangement in this world to be happy. They will simply make arrangements to get out of this world and go back home, back to Godhead. That is the purpose of life. And that is easily done when one takes shelter of Krishna's representative, the spiritual master, and agrees to strictly follow the instructions of the spiritual master. One might think, well, that's another restriction. But take a look, you're living in the material world, you're restricted by so many things. You have to serve your boss. If you're not serving your boss to his liking, he may decide to, throw you out of your position or give you a difficult situation. You try to serve your family members, they're not happy or never satisfied. Prabhupada talks about that one verse where one man, he serves his family his whole life. And at the end of his life, he's old and his wife is still complaining, you haven't done anything. This child is not married, this one is not married. What are you doing? You wait, So, whatever you do, nobody's happy. You can't satisfy people. Even if they're satisfied for some time, that satisfaction changes as time changes. This is the material world. So here we're talking about kings who have such big, powerful, and influential positions. And it says that reduced by the force of time to nothing more than historical accounts. Just a list of names written in some books about this person who appeared as a king so many thousands of years ago. Who cares? And that person who was a king, maybe in the body of an insect now, or a worm or a dog, or somewhere in the material world, struggling again to try to find some position. Now, this is the material world. So one has to understand these things in order to become serious about Krishna consciousness. If we think that this place is nice and can offer something to us, we're simply an illusion. All it can offer us is the hard struggle to somehow live in this world. That's the only thing that it can do. And everyone is struggling hard, even the rich person. He's still attached to get more money, getting more prestige, getting more facilities to make more money. This is the material world. No one's happy, and no one can stop playing the game of material life. So unless one takes to Krishna consciousness, which is the ultimate golden life. And that's why we are placed in this material world, is to become free from that attachment. So that the human form of life is the best opportunity to rid oneself of that. So one should take seriously this Krishna consciousness. One should chant the holy names with attention and devotion. One should seek out the association of other souls and look for opportunities for service. One should look for opportunities to hear from the great souls and associate with them, and also serve them whenever possible. One should read books based on one's growth in spiritual life and how to execute the process of bhakti. One should eat only those things that have been offered to the Lord in devotion, prashadam. And one should spend their recreational time in kirtan, visiting holy places, and performing activities that are beneficial for the propagation of Krishna consciousness. So all the activities that one can perform in the material world can also be performed in relationship to one's practice of devotional service. There's no loss. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj, for pointing out that position, even if that of a king, is in the end coming to nothing if one does not become Krishna conscious. And how all the ephemeral things of this material world are just that ephemeral. and our real business is to become Krishna conscious in this lifetime. Thank you, Maharaj. Dear devotees, please feel free to share your own ideas, your thoughts, your desires to improve your own Krishna consciousness through these daily calls. If you have any queries, any comments, any realizations, now is the time. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj, while everyone is thinking about this, how even as devotees practicing Krishna consciousness, even though we understand how temporary this, whatever is there in our life is so temporary, whether it's a problem or whether it's a good thing, still we have this tendency to get very caught up in the moment, whatever it may be. We feel elated when something nice happens, or we feel, in despair if something is sad or bad. How we can get past this ups and downs, even though we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we are not equanimous.
Brahmabhuta prasanatma na shoshati na kangshati samasa bhuteshu madbhakti. One who is situated in pure devotional service does not hanker or lament for any material situation. His hankering and lamenting is simply the gross form of one's material attachments. That's all. It's due to material attachments.
And so we just don't take them seriously. We neglect all the mind's dictates and just carry on with our own Krishna consciousness.
You deal with the situation, but you don't get caught up in the situation.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
We have to take on responsibility in life. And so we deal with the situations, realizing that this is simply my responsibility to deal with this. And the success of what we deal with means that it will be offered to Krishna in devotion, and somehow or other we solve the situation and get some material benefit from that. But that's not the real goal. It's just, in other words, we should not be overwhelmed by our responsibilities in this material realm. We do our duty in a detached way, giving the results to Krishna. That's all.
Yes, Maharaj. Supriya is sharing. Yes, Maharaj.
What can you do? All you can do is try to do things that you're required to do and leave the results up to the Lord.
So Supriya wants to share her realization, Maharaj. With your permission, may I read out? I had this realization that life is short and whatever material activities we are doing is just a waste of time. So I wanted to find the real solution to this problem, and there slowly I landed up in Krishna consciousness movement. And then she adds, but we still measure our success, but how much we acquired and how much power we have in material life.
Who's asking the question?
Supriya.
And what's the essence of the question?
She's actually not asking a question. She's just sharing her realization about how she realized that she didn't want to waste her time in material activities. And that's how she came to Krishna consciousness.
Well, that's intelligent, yeah. Material activities are a waste of time. Because even if you get something from it, you lose it. I mean, for a devotee to maintain the body is not material because it's meant to support one's spiritual practice. Material activities are those things that are outside of our are outside of our needs for living in this material world and have nothing to do with our spiritual advancement. So, you know, the scriptures say live simply. Live according to your needs, and then spend quality time in spiritual activity. Don't live according to your greeds, but to your needs.
Supriya Mataji, would you like to share your realizations or what thoughts you are having instead of writing in the chat? Feel free to speak them.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. You're lucky to make. You're lucky to come to that understanding. In other words, you're fortunate that you were able to understand the futility of material life, and because you received that knowledge, now you can make the solution of life and become Krishna conscious. Microphone is not working good, so that's why she's putting on the chat.
Nashila Leela Mataji is asking a question on the chat. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I could see that my approach to life is quite rigid and deliberate in all spheres, including my spiritual practice. Sometimes it seems to me that other devotees who are more spontaneous by nature are more happy and fulfilled, even more loving persons. How to reconcile these two seemingly opposing sides? Because sometimes I think I'm lacking something because of my nature or mentality. Thank you for your time and guidance.
What are you lacking? What is that? What is that feeling of lack? What is it? What does it indicate?
She says because her approach to life is very rigid and deliberate and well thought out, she's not a spontaneous person. She doesn't do things on impulse, is what I gather. She says other devotees are more spontaneous by nature. They're more happy and fulfilled, even more loving persons. So my guess is she wants to also be like that.
Well, you have
Yeah,
to
thank you, Sridevi Mataji. That's it.
follow your nature. And if you want to develop certain qualities that you don't have, you should look for that association in others. If you're rigid, then you associate with someone who's more spontaneous.
I could really benefit from Dashika Leela's association, Guru Maharaj, because I'm the complete opposite. I think I don't have any brains to think well. So maybe Dashika Leela Mataji can guide me.
Spontaneous doesn't mean just doing things. It means doing things in the right way. Mishinga and Leela is just being humble. That's all she is. Their question is mostly about her own humble nature.
Thank you, Dashika Leela Mataji. Any other questions, any comments by anyone? Please jump in right now and ask your questions, clarify your doubts. This is the best time to do it. I would highly encourage and humbly entreat you to come forward and share your thoughts, your realizations that will be benefiting for all of us.
Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Aparana Gucci Sudanama Ruchi. Oh, when will that day be mine, when my offenses ceasing, the taste for the holy name increasing? Oh, when, oh, when, oh, when will that day be mine? So he's praying like that. Let me be free from all the offenses. And so the name of the Krishna's name will be sweet and uplifting. So we can pray to what we aspire to be like. You'll see the great souls, they offer prayers in the form of their poetry, their writings, their songs, their life examples of aspiring for it. So you have to understand one thing, and it's very important. This was also pointed out very nicely in a recent book by Shiva Ram Maharaj. You don't just go along in Krishna consciousness doing things. You have to aspire for things. You have to aspire to become a devotee, and you have to aspire to perform the activities in such a way that the value of the activities have more and more benefit. You have to aspire for Sudanam or Sudabak, Sudanam. We have to aspire to develop those qualities that allows us to associate with the devotees in a way that is uplifting. You have to aspire. We want to serve better and more. So that aspiration takes the form of focusing on these things. Not that we just go through the activities from one to another just to finish the activity and go on to the next one. There is a focus, it's called ekagrata, keeping your mind focused on what you want to achieve. The ultimate goal is love of God. So that we want to achieve, but then we have short-range goals, which will help us bring us to the point of love of God. So understand your short-range goals and aspire to achieve them, which will bring you to a higher level of Krishna consciousness. We shouldn't be mechanical or routine or lackadaisical in our devotional service. Those devotional service is dynamic. It inspires thought, intelligence, ideas, creativity in the execution of our devotional service. We can't just mope along and expect everything to be better. It's very active mentally, active physically. We should not be happy with where we are. We should be thinking where we want to be and aspiring to get to that place. Gopal Kumar, he had the association of the Lord in different levels of existence through the Swargaloka and ultimately Vaikuntha, but he was never satisfied. Even though he met the Lord in Vaikuntha, Narayan himself, he still wasn't satisfied because his aspiration was Vrindavan, Goloka Vrindavan. Only when he got to Goloka Vrindavan did he achieve the goal of all his activities. He teaches us from that story in the Brihad Bhagavatam, never to be satisfied where you are, only be dissatisfied until you get to where you really want to be. And that dissatisfaction is good because it motivates you for change, for advancement.
Maharaj, as you're speaking, I'm remembering His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj's books on mind, making your mind your best friend. In that, Maharaj writes about goals, exactly what you said, about how we must constantly be pushing ourselves to move to the next level, because otherwise we will just remain caught in the lower state.
Or we'll go backwards. So make goals in your Krishna consciousness and try to achieve those goals.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you very much. You always find the words to tell us that we should not just stay here and wait, that we can have everything in our hands and then we can have a better life and we can have a happy life, even times are so bad. Thank you so much that you always give the right way to go. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Thank you for coming to the retreat. Kirti couldn't, she also has a difficult time getting around, but she left her comfortable position in Mayapur to come all the way to Govardhan Echo Village in Bombay on a retreat, just to be with the devotees and take advantage of the holy place.
It was marvelous.
So that was an effort that she had to do, and it wasn't easy. In order for her to do it, she had to have someone else assist her in doing it, but because she had a desire, Krishna made the arrangement. And there's an example of wanting to move forward, even though it might be difficult from the physical point of view. There's this one Christian preacher. He's quite an amazing guy, really powerful. He has no arms and no legs, but he is one of the best Christian preachers. And he's done things that was impossible to do for a person who has no arms and no legs. He's even went swimming. So he I don't know if I can't remember his name. I've seen some videos about him. The guy's amazing. He knows by with the grace of God, one can do anything. That's it. Yeah, his name is Nick something. Yeah. And he has a following. He's a very dynamic preacher. Complete faith in the mercy of the Lord, and complete enthusiasm to achieve that, to take advantage of that mercy and make achievements in his own life as an evangelistic preacher.
Maharaj, when we read or see these examples, oh, there's Namrata. Please go ahead, Namrata.
I'm sorry, I mean, did I interrupt it? You can finish it, then I can ask. Okay. Please accept my humble obeisances, Guru Maharaj. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your holy feet, all glories to the assembled devotees. Guru Maharaj, there was Ruhan's birthday yesterday, and we celebrated with the Vrindavan theme, and the kids were very happy. We did everything. All the games were with Gopa boys and everything like the Vrindavan theme, and people were really inspired. And many of the mothers, they are seeing me here practicing Krishna consciousness since 1 year, and they are happy with what they're seeing in Ruhan. So now they are asking me that you teach our kids also. So I was I was just wondering, I mean, Guru Maharaj, am I ready to teach kids right now. Should I take this up or not? I want to take your opinion.
What do you think? Do you want to do it?
Actually, I feel that what I have experienced on, I mean, experimented on Ruhan, my son, I really feel that children around me, they are really lacking a lot of things, lacking in the sense they are so much associated with other things which they should not be. So I do want to give them, but I want to ask your permission. Am I ready for this? I mean, should I do it?
Even if you are not completely ready, once you start, you might develop, you can also develop the knowledge and the skills that it would take. It's more like what they call it on-the-job training. But because you have some success, other people are willing to take risks and put their kids under your care. So obviously they're impressed by what you can do. So take it a little farther, even though you might, and see how it goes.
Okay.
Of course, working with children is not easy. Very difficult. And you have to have a lot of patience. And you also have to have what is called, what is that called? Not resilience, but resourcefulness. You have to be very resourceful in coming up with things that on the spot, and how to keep kids engaged and how to keep them their attention on what you're trying to give them. It depends how many kids at a time you want to take on. One at a time, two at a time, or
yes, Kumar, I really want to see, I mean, who are ready to take up, and I don't want to rush into getting the kids. I will see who is inquisitive and who really wants to join in.
Yeah, do you have the time also?
Yeah, so maybe once in a week I'll slowly start with them with 2-3 kids.
Oh, sounds good.
I'll frame up certain things, and I mean I'll pre-plan it, Guru Maharaj. I mean, I don't want to jump in just randomly, but I'll plan certain things and then I'll go ahead.
You have enough time.
Yes, Guru Maharaj?
Make sure you have enough time and it doesn't take away from your other activities.
Yeah.
Especially your sadhana.
Okay. Okay. Then maybe I can, sometimes do some activities and bring kids, maybe not on the regular level.
Yeah, try it. See, you can always pull out of it if you can't do it. Give it a try though. And if you can train these children to become Krishna conscious, that's preaching. That's great service.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, that's what my motive is. And
Any other motive, what else can you do?
because bringing them on one platform, what Prabhupada has given us, I feel they can really they can really have a lot of positive qualities in them.
Well, you have to make sure the environment is conducive.
Mm.
And one thing is you could also bring them to the temple or to some spiritual gathering, and that will help.
Okay, Guru Maharaj. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very happy Krishna conscious birthday wishes to Ruhan from all of us, Namrata.
I will call you, Shrudevi Mataji. He was excited to talk to you, but there was a lot of things. So, Hare Krishna.
Dear devotees, we are almost at 1 hour. If you have any last question, now is the time to ask. Now is the time to get your doubts clarified. Maharaj, you seem to be really tired today.
That's just an appearance, that's all.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Does it look like there's any other questions or any contributions right now, Maharaj? So I guess we'll sign off for today.
Okay, I did skip my rest this afternoon, which I usually take. Which might seem like I'm a little tired, but it's just, I broke my regulation. Because I just didn't want to follow my regulation today.
Thank you for coming on and giving us your mercy. Nevertheless, Maharaj, we are so grateful. This is the one lifeline that is keeping us in Krishna consciousness and helping us to stay afloat. So thank you so much for your mercy.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you for your mercy and thank you for you being here and always caring for us. Thank you so much.
It's fun. Okay. Whatever it takes. The more we engage in Krishna consciousness, the more we become purified.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Our humble obeisances to you and to all the devotees. We thank everyone for coming online and joining in this Sadhu Sangha. Without you, we wouldn't be able to have this Sadhu Sangha, nice association. So please keep coming. Please tell everyone else to join in. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Clarified my obeisances to everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow night. Tomorrow.
Hare Krishna.
Either tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow night, depending. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Hare Bol.